Good morning, everyone. This is the first City Utilities Committee meeting of 2026. Welcome. We do have a quorum now, so we'll go ahead and get started. I may propose that we go on recess while the state is in session. It's a little difficult to get here this morning, but I have been joined, again, I'm Dustin Hill as Chair of the City Utilities Committee. I've been joined by my immediate right, Councilmember Alex Swan, followed by Councilmember Jason Dozier, followed by Councilmember Kelsey Bond, and we do constitute a quorum. I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda. Second by Councilmember Juan. I guess I should also log into the voting system.
One moment.
This is by unanimous consent of members present. So the agenda has been adopted. I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the prior meeting. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Juan. By unanimous consent of the 4 members present, those are adopted. With the 2026 City Utilities Committee Vice Chair, I've spoken with Councilmember Bakhtiari about serving this position, so I would appreciate the other members' support of that. I will make a motion to nominate Councilmember Liliana Bakhtiari as the Vice Chair of the 2026 City Utilities Committee. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Dozier. Please prepare the vote.
One moment. Mr. Chair, can we take a voice vote? We're still having technical difficulties.
All right. Can we do this by unanimous consent? We'll also adopt Councilmember Bakhtiari as the Vice Chair by unanimous consent of the 4 members present. And we will move on to our committee goals and objectives. I have drafted a rough draft of those. A number of them, as indicated, are left over from 1 or even more prior committee years, so hopefully we can make some progress with DPW and DWM on achieving those. So if you would please look over those, send me your revisions, additions, et cetera, so we can adopt these by the next meeting. We have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, we have no one signed up for public comment. All
right. We will now move on to the consent agenda and ordinances for first reading.
Item number 1, 26-01010, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer or his designee to amend the FY 2026 Water and Wastewater Renewal and Extension Fund budget in the amount of $1,166,700.00 to transfer funds from watershed reserves for appropriation to add funds to the Arm-Clayton Levee Improvements Project, Bolton Road Segment Phase 2, and for other purposes. Item number 2, 26-01011, an ordinance by City Utilities Committee waiving Part 2, Chapter 2, Article 10, Division 4 of the Atlanta City Code, as well as any other conflicting code provisions, to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute the first amendment to agreements listed herein for stormwater improvements contract with Southeastern Site Development Incorporated, Precision 2000 Incorporated Joint Venture, and Integral Municipal Services Corporation, Rockdale Pipeline Incorporated Joint Venture, respectively, on behalf of the Department of Watershed Management, to add funding in a combined amount not to exceed $7,500,000.00. All contract will be charged to and paid from the fund, department, organization, and account numbers listed herein and for other purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Before we move on to the regular agenda, I did ask that the DPW and DWM commissioner be present, and I see they are. If you all want to play paper, rock, scissors, or whoever goes first, if you'll come up and introduce yourself and introduce your DCs or ACs in the case of DWM. As well, it would be much appreciated. If you have members that couldn't join us today, please just list their names and what they're over. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Commissioner Cyril Turner. I am over DPW, and with me today is Keith Robinson and also Eugene McKinney and also Valerie is here as well as our legislative representative. Delighted to be here. Look forward to working with you for the upcoming year and for the foreseeable future.
And DC Johnson is over,
I'm sorry.
DC, you mentioned DC?
Yeah, DC Robinson,
Robinson,
is over,
sorry.
yes, is over the administrative aspects of the business. And then DC McKinney is relatively new, as am I, for operations, day-to-day operations.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with you. And we've been joined by Councilmember Lewis. Did you have a comment? Or?
Yeah, I truly appreciate you for this. This was some work we've been working on for probably about 2 years, and working with the Watershed and Appeals Board. I wanted to read some notes that they sent me, if you don't mind.
We're not on that yet, Councilmember Lewis.
Okay.
We're doing introductions of the commissioners. And just Commissioner Irely, if you want to come up and, yeah. Actually, Commissioner Turner, I apologize. Members do have some questions. Councilmember Juan.
Well, I want to take this opportunity while you're at the podium and we're in a public space. Obviously, we got bombarded over December in terms of some challenges that with service delivery on solid waste. So I was wanting to afford you an opportunity to at least address that, maybe explain or say what's being done to improve that. So thank you.
I'm absolutely aware of that. Really, it stems from yard waste. It's seasonal. We're staffed for day-to-day solid waste as well as recycling. Then we have a bolus of activity as it relates to yard waste. We are very challenged on that. Unlike solid waste and also recycling, we don't have bins. We have the compostable bags. It's the right vehicle for disposal. It's the wrong vehicle for collection. And so being short-staffed, which we're addressing, we have temp labor that's joined. We had 17 people join us just yesterday, split between the two facilities to play catch-up. We've also authorized overtime on the weekends to be able to catch up as well. So we're very aware of it, and we take full responsibility for it as well. But we're going to get this corrected and bring on additional resources to be able to deal with that. We won't be having this discussion next year, okay? So, but we're very aware of how that also spills over into our solid waste and also our recycling collections too. And so it's staffing that we're working on, and that's why we've brought in temp labor to be able to help us with that. So I'm very aware of that, and I take responsibility for the city on getting that done.
Okay, this is helpful to know. So we think we'll be caught up in the next 1 or 2 cycles? Maybe sooner?
Yes, it depends on how you define cycle. But we are catching up for sure.
Okay.
And there's some accountability things that we're changing, cultural things we're changing as well.
This is helpful for us to be able to share to our constituents. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And I'll gladly speak with them as well. Okay.
Any other questions for Commissioner Turner? We'll move on to DWM and Commissioner Irely. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Irely, please come up, introduce yourself and your team and their responsibilities.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. My name is Commissioner Greg Irely, and I have a number of my team members here and a couple outside trying to find parking presently. So with me, I have my Assistant Commissioner Smith, Hugh Smith. He is the Assistant Commissioner over our operations, and what that means is that's over our treatment plants, our distribution systems, and collection systems. So it's really the heart and soul of Watershed's functions. Also with me is our Chief of Staff, Anu Sasavath. He oversees kind of the inner workings of DWM, and he also has a number of direct reports like facilities and other security functions within DWM. Also, I have interim director of communications, Lena Hardy's here. We borrowed her from the mayor's office, and hopefully we can find a home for her here in Watershed. She's done an amazing job in her interim role, and we thank her for that. And we have a deputy commissioner over our watershed protection program. That's DC Alex Mahajer. He comes to us with a wealth of experience. He's truly a master at his craft, and we really appreciate all the things he does for us. And we also have Deputy Commissioner Aban with us, Ade Aban. He's been with the city a very long time, I believe, 25 years of experience with the city? And we're very fortunate that he stepped into Deputy Commissioner over the Office of Engineering Services. And so he handles a lot of our capital coordination projects. And so thank you. Also, we have Deputy Commissioner Yolanda Broom. Stand up. She's over, she always says, people and procurement. So she handles a lot of our training for our staff, as well as really expedites our procurement process, working in coordination with the city's Department of Procurement. And so she's very critical to what we do. We have a couple other folks just joining us now. They must have found us parking. We have Deputy Commissioner Quentin Fletcher. He's over all of our treatment plants, so he reports to Assistant Commissioner Smith, and he is a lifelong Atlantan and former class president. So we're very fortunate to have him a part of our team. And also just joining us is Deputy Commissioner Curlis Jones, who's new to her role. And I'll give a little bit more experience. She's new to her role in the Office of Customer Care and Billing. That's OCBBS. That's meters. I'm going to stand up for a second. Meters, billing, all things related directly to our customers. She probably talks to more of our customers directly than any of our commissioners and assistant commissioners. And so I'll just read a little bit about her. She was just promoted. Curlis Jones is a result-driven leader with more than 20 years of experience in customer resolutions, escalations, management, stakeholder engagement, and service delivery. She began her career with DWM in 2011 and in the Office of Communications and Community Relations. In 2017, she joined the Office of Customer Care and Billing Services, where she worked with Customer Assurance and Satisfaction. The CAS team was established. As Deputy Commissioner of OCCBS, Curlis oversees customer relations, walk-in centers, online news service, account adjustments, the Water and Sewer Appeals Board, DWM's Customer Contact Center, billing, inspections, meter operations, and meter applications. It's a lot of what we do. It's where, we build trust with the community, or we can lose trust with the community through our billing. She holds a Master's in Arts in Education from La Sierra University and a Bachelor's of Science in Speech Pathology and Audiology from Loma Linda University, an educator at heart. And she's just a fantastic communicator. A lot of times I will have a customer reach out to me directly that's very frustrated, and I turn it over to Curlis, and I know Ms. Jones is going to take care of it. So thank you very much for taking this role. And we'll see if Deputy Commissioner Wright has made it here. He has not yet, but we also have a new Deputy Commissioner over our Office of Linear Infrastructure. And for newer council members, that's really great that we finally have full-time leadership there. We have not had a regular full-time person in the Office of Linear Infrastructure for over 3 years. All the other folks that were in those roles were interims. So bringing that stability to DWM is very important. And Mr. Wright, Deputy Commissioner Wright, has a wealth of experience. He came most directly from the airport. So he was working out at the airport doing capital projects. But prior to that, he was with DWM and Olio. So he has firsthand of experience of how we operate and what Olio's issues are, and we're very excited to have him here. I believe he's on his 3rd or 4th week on the job, and I will just say he'll have other opportunities to talk to you. Also, we have our business manager here, John Tavius Johns. You're here, and thank you. And so. He kind of keeps the things going behind the scenes, and we appreciate all that he brings to us. And then I think that's all I have right now. I'm going through my list to make sure. Director Lane. Director Lane is our, you can stand up here. So this is a person that a lot of your staff will work with on a regular basis. Director Lane keeps our governmental affairs and legislation moving, and he's the brains behind everything that we try to bring to you guys for you to give us guidance. So with that, anything else you'd like to ask questions or anything?
Thank you, Commissioner Irely. One request has already been made to you, and I'm sure I will repeat it to Commissioner Turner this afternoon. If you could get the committee a list of your team with their number and email and their area of responsibility, so we can have that for both DPW and DWM when issues arise, that would be much appreciated. Any other members? I would like to introduce Councilmember Boone, who's joined us, and she does have a question.
Yes, Happy New Year, and thank you for all of the great work that you and your team do. Thank you all to these great leaders. And I just want to just remind you all to be courteous and to be kind to our legacy residents, not only our legacy residents, but to our legacy employees. A lot of times things escalate to City Council, and I've been in touch with many of you all, but know that we have ears and eyes all over this building. And there is nothing wrong with being kind, because one day we will age as well. So let's treat people like we want to be treated. Commissioner, I've spoken with you about a couple of incidents in your department, and I'm happy to see all of you all doing well, but let's remember that there is a digital divide. Let's continue to do mailings, postcards, our phone calls, and let's be kind to our employees that have paved the way for all of us to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boone. Councilmember Bakhtiari, our Vice Chair.
Yes, so I heard. Sorry for being late, you all. I forgot about session, legislative, and the roads were filled with giant trucks that are too big for our streets. So, hi. Commissioner, I just wanted to thank you. I know you have a lot to work on coming up. I know we're talking about our replacement plan and the work with the Army Corps of Engineers. And I really want to give a shout out to the team. Everybody, whether it's Anu or Mahajer or hey, you, having to field my calls, or you all, your entire team has been very responsive. I'm hoping that we can sit down. I know that there's a number of water quality issues that we're dealing with because of, well, climate change and a number of other things. I know we have Tom Lowe to talk about how to appropriately allocate our resources. Hoping that we can sit down and talk about that soon. You brought that to our attention, thank you. So if we could get, just to make sure that before the next water board meeting, that we have our ducks in a row to ensure that I'm making decisions, that Councilmember Norwood and I are both making decisions that are in line with the city's best interests. Would love that opportunity.
Absolutely.
And we'll make sure to follow up again via email today. And if you want me to include any of the DCs, or AC Smith, I'll make sure to put him on there as well.
Okay.
But thank you all, and looking forward to working with you. I know we have a lot on our plates, and I want to thank y'all for the work you've done in Reynoldstown. So appreciate that.
Any other questions for the Commissioner? Thank you, Commissioner. And again, we'll look forward to those organizational and contact charts that you can send out. DC Mahajer, I'll just say I do need to speak with you. Once the meeting is over, we only have one piece of legislation, so about an issue. So we'll chat up after the meeting. Now moving on to our regular agenda and ordinances for second reading.
Item number 3, 26-0-1000, an ordinance by Councilmember Antonio Lewis to amend Chapter 154, Article 2 of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances so as to add new definitions, including department error, to expand eligible building adjustments and credits, to revise the Commissioner's authority related to building adjustments, to update procedures of the Water and Sewers Appeals Board, and for other purposes.
You, Deputy Commissioner Jones, very nice to
Yes.
see you, and congrats on your promotion. It's
Good
been a
morning. Thank
Pleasure to
you.
work with you over the years, and
Yes.
glad to see you in this role. You tell us a little bit
Morning.
about this.
Good morning. I am Curlis Jones, Deputy Commissioner of the Office of Customer Care and Billing Services for the Department of Watershed Management. The purpose of this legislation is to support Councilmember Antonio Lewis's efforts to strengthen the water and sewer billing adjustments procedures by introducing new definitions, expanding eligible billing adjustments and credits, and revising the Commissioner's authority related to billing adjustments. This legislation was initiated by Councilmember Lewis in collaboration with the Water and Sewer Appeals Board. The Department of Watershed Management reviewed the proposed amendments and agrees that they enhance the departmental accountability and establish clearer, more defensible standards for billing adjustments. The amendment expands customer relief by permitting one additional billing adjustment within a rolling 12-month period, when there's verified plumbing repairs that have been completed. This establishes an approach of fairness to our customers, and it encourages water conservation. The amendment also extends the maximum consecutive years of service for members to serve on the Water Sewers Appeals Board, which supports continuity, institutional knowledge, and effective governance. Finally, the legislation clarifies and refines the Commissioner's authority related to billing adjustments, ensuring decisions are applied consistently, aligned with established criteria, and supported by city code. This concludes my remarks, and I'll be happy to address or answer any of your questions.
Thank you, DC Jones. Before we move on, Councilmember Lewis, did you have any additional comments? Or?
Yeah, I actually do. And I wish I could have got this done last term, actually. This is legislation myself and the Honorable Councilmember Howard Shook actually did together. As I served as the chair of the Utilities Committee for 2 years, and we wanted to get the TV channel back on, and we wanted to help the Water and Sewer Appeals Board with doing things. And we were able to get the TV channel back on thanks to the mayor's office and to the deputy COO, Austin at the time period. But myself and Councilmember Shook, we worked with the Water and Sewer Appeals Board, and they came up with some amendments themselves. And what we did was we took those amendments back to the to the DWM, Water Management, Watershed Management. We took it to them, and they had some changes and they wanted to make it even better. There were opportunities to actually help people in the city of Atlanta. The Water and Sewer Appeals Board, they feel that way. The Watershed, the DWM feels that way. The mayor's office feel that way. And Councilmember Howard Shook, who served the longest on the Utilities Committee, felt that way. Super upset we couldn't get this in the last term. The reason we slowed it down was because the Department of Watershed Management actually had some additions they wanted to make with it. They wanted to look at it. And so we got this back from them and entered this in the first meeting to get it across.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. Moving on to questions, Councilmember Wine.
All right, I have two. I'm supportive of this, and I know that it's a continuation of the work that was done by City Utilities last year, but I do have two questions. One is in terms of the term of the board members. I'm skeptical that a one-year extension really helps address the challenges that we heard from the board, and I quite frankly would have been supportive of a longer, because once you get good people on a subject matter as technical as this is, I don't understand why we aren't pushing for a longer extension. Is there a legal reason? Is there an operational reason? Like to get that, that's my first topic. And
I'll tell you that this is something that they considered a lot. They had a lot of returning members. I remember Michael Hopkins, returning member 3 times. I remember we have a young person who actually lives on Michael Langford Drive right now in the Joyland community. I can't think of his name right now, but returning member 3 terms. And so one of their issues was that they came up with this and they brought that to us for the 1-year term period so we can find somebody else. That's what they brought to us, and that's why we put it forth. And this went through so many eyes before we brought it forward. But the Water and Appeals Board, they thought that's something that they should do.
Well, I appreciate the fact that they want a year. Maybe they were tempered by what they thought we would have appetite for. Again, is there a legal constraint for us to be able to go longer than that? Because I don't want us to extend for 1 year and then have to come back and talk about this again in another year, when we may be in agreement that a longer extension actually makes sense because of the technical nature of this board.
DC Jones or Mr. Bandari?
Yeah, hi, Roger Bandari, City of Atlanta Law Department. Well, that's loud. No, I think the logic behind it is they serve for 3-year terms. And so it went from 8 to 9, so that it would round out. Basically, you could serve 3 full terms. Legally, no, you could make it, for instance, 12 years and 4 terms if you wanted to. Short choice, or you could, once they hit 9, if there was some rationale behind it, you could do a separate ordinance to extend somebody.
Okay. I'll support this in its form, but I will reserve the right to continue exploring this between now and Tuesday. I don't have any opposition to going to 4 terms when we've got people willing to serve that have done a good job. And I just don't want to come back and revisit that in a year simply because we didn't have enough foresight at this juncture. Second question I had has to do with, we're adding department error in as a new category, which is great. I don't feel confident that it's going to address the complaints that I hear from my constituents in terms of this process, the board's ability to really grant and review the challenges that I'm hearing from my constituents when they go to this board. So I'm curious as to, were other categories explored and were they ruled out, and why? Again, if we're opening this Pandora's box, let's open it.
There were other additions, definitions that were explored, and the department did not agree with them. The ones that were suggested as departmental error seem to be more of departmental delays and were not true errors. So the 2 that we did agree to was that when a customer does not receive a bill for more than 6 months, so we agreed that that was a departmental error. And the second one is when objectively incorrect information is given. That has to do with when a customer is told that there is a leak on the city side, and when we do dig and break the ground, then we realize that it's on the customer's side. So that's, wrong information, and we do have to own that error. So we did classify that as an error. So of the ones that were proposed, we did not allow or agree to some of them, and these are the ones we agreed to.
Okay, all right, so the incorrect information, like as you just described it, does cover, if we find it is not, as we presume, customer responsibility, but it's actually ours, right?
Yes.
Okay, that actually helps me a lot, because that is an example that I do hear a lot from my constituents. I'm excited that we're making movement on this. Councilmember Lewis, I appreciate your continuing to advance this. Like I said, I'm going to support this today, but I think we might explore that 4th term between now and Tuesday. Thank you.
We welcome that.
Thank you,
Can
Councilman
I
Warren.
tell you, I was okay with the term. I actually tried to extend one of the people that were there for 3 years. So I fully, and Gabby is the second person. Councilmember Boone knows Gabby, a gentleman who's also sat on the board for about 3 terms.
I said, let's let this move forward, and then maybe we have an amendment on Tuesday that changes that. Thank you.
Sounds like a motion, and I'll
Councilman
second it.
Bakhtiari?
No, I don't want to.
No, I just wanted to thank you, Councilmember Lewis, and also DC Jones. It's finally nice to see you
Nice to meet you.
in person, because I email you all the time. And honestly, also want to thank you for your responsiveness on billing issues. I know we have quite a few, and Councilmember Lewis, I really wanted to thank you for working on this. It's definitely going to make sure that residents are able to have claims resolved more quickly, and echoing Councilmember Juan, would love to work with you on this to find out how we continue improving service provisions, and would like to work to provide some relief for customers when they experience service outages, whether that's through, providing water, bottled water, whatever it may be, but trying to tackle that to ensure how we're meeting people in real time when those issues are happening, when they do not have water, find out how we provide relief for them as well. So I will motion to approve, and I'm looking forward to working with you on this. And again, kudos for for getting this in motion. Thank you, guys.
Motion by Councilmember Bakhtiari, second by Councilmember Dozier. Please prepare the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 6 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
6 yeas, 0 nays, item is favorable. Once again, thank you, DC Jones. Thank you, Councilmember Lewis, for both of y'all's work on this. Well,
Mr. Chair, that concludes our legislative items for today's meeting.
don't expect us any more meetings, but that is the only legislative item we had. So any other comments, questions? If not, we stand adjourned. Thank you all.